The weather has closed in for round 6 of the BSR Touring Car Championship here at Lime Rock Park, Andrew Woodhouse with Adam Bath, and this time I'll bring Alex Simpson in first, World Championship driver. Alex, we know these overcast conditions can spell disaster. What do you think is going to happen today?
Safety car, safety car, safety car, over the crest. If we even get that far, maybe before that, turn 1 maybe. I don't know. always the optimist me, I suppose.
Adam, I think he's about spot on there, isn't he? It's like Tony Blair with his repeating everything 3 times.
Pretty much so, yeah. I think with the overcast conditions, we're probably going to have a track blockage, probably on the exit of turn 2. We've got 20 seconds to go until the grid starts forming up, so let's have a look at the starting lineup. On pole position, after finishing in 15th place in race number 2, Robert Fagg will be on pole position. Alongside him, a bit of an unknown to the championship, Marcio Amado, and in 3rd place is John Roberts, with Laura Bond in 4th. She was an unfortunate victim from Alex Smolensky in race 2. Then in 5th place it's Paul Smith with John Bays in 6th, Dan Hunt in 7th place, 8th place it's Simon Field, 9th is Robert Plumley, 10th is Ashley Blake Hood, and then into the lower half of the top 20. 11th is Andreas Katz, 12th our reigning champion David Baker, 13th place is Pete Newman, he's been having a strong evening so far with a 3rd and a 5th. 14th place is Daniel Kraft, and in 15th place is Steve Walker. 16th place is Robert Graham, 17th is Russell Laidler, 18th Kevin Noon, 19th place is Halit Ertas, he was the last car to finish on the lead lap, and in 20th place is Eckhart von Glan. One of the main talking points, though, Andrew, from race number 2 is the amount of disqualifications. We had 6 cars get disqualified, and a few of them some pretty big names.
Yeah, I think we have to keep an eye out, because Alex Smolensky and Ellis Stevens are lining up alongside each other, and just behind them is Ashley Sutton, so that could all kick off. We may have to keep separate. Shame we can't have a separate camera on them. Just a quick word on Marcio Amado. He has been in the championship. He's done a few meetings in the past, but this is definitely the first time he's been at the front of the grid, so good luck to him. I think Robert Fagg's got this, though, I really do. He's showed fantastic pace. If he can keep it clean, I think he can do it. Let's see if he can. Oh, green light is on. Amado got a shocking start, and already David Baker's on the grass for some reason. As down towards turn 1 we go, Robert Fagg leads, and following him into turn 1 is John Roberts.
Yep, and who's that getting sideways? That's Laura Bond. Roberts trying to...
Roberts struggling, and
everyone taking it very
through.
Cautiously, and everyone being very calm so far. I'm surprised how we haven't seen a crash as John Roberts gets all out of shape again.
Crash at the back.
I think Katz hit someone, possibly.
One of the Platinum Immediate cars is off. I think that's Simon Field. Poor Simon Field again having contact. I see smoke, but no safety car yet.
Pete Newman was off. Russell Laidler's off as well. Oh, Elite Martini car in the wall as well, and that was Malensky, unbelievably. I want to see just how he got there, just to make sure there wasn't any contact with his teammates. And... oh, contact with Laidler. Well, actually, Laidler's had some fisticuffs with him before.
It's all kicking off on the final corner. Battle for 3rd place.
A lot of people in the pits as well.
So it's still Robert Fagg that leads. John Roberts 2nd. 3rd for Laura Bond. 4th, Robert Plumley, who's actually made it through an overcast race for once. And Daniel Hunt in 5th. Paul Smith 6th. Amadou down to 7th, but still on the track and still clean. Andreas Katz 8th, 9th Dan Kraft, and Ashley Blake Hood in 10th, followed by Steve Walker.
So Katz again, another fantastic start from him up into 8th place. He's been having great results so far tonight, but Laura Bond is definitely holding up Robert Plumley, because the Engine Oils direct car is right onto the back of it as we head through this corner. Let's see if this Elite Martini car can actually get a good result. We haven't seen them manage to get a good one tonight as a result of all the shenanigans in the first 2 races. Through the final corner, Laura Bond runs a bit wide. Robert Plumley trying to get the best toe he can down the straight before having a look. He has a look down the inside. He's hard on the brakes. Will he try and get the move done? He is clear. And Dan Hunt tries to join
Laura's turned in on Dan Hunt, unfortunately there. And Hunt, yeah, Laura possibly didn't realise Hunt was there, but it was optimistic. She didn't defend the line and unfortunately paid for it.
It was almost an identical incident to the one between Smolensky and Bond in race 2.
Yeah, it was, and this time Laura was the one doing the assaulting, and yeah, I can't really defend that one, unfortunately. Blake Hood, right, and actually contact, and Kraft into the tyre wall, and possibly out of the race. Has he got any damage?
I don't know whether they looked at the car's point. All four wheels are pointing in a straight line. Blimey, the car hasn't got a scratch on it, I don't think.
He might have got away with that. He went off at some rate, and there's cars going off at the final corner. 2 wheels on the grass. Smolensky's 1 lap down. He's there, being passed by David Baker, and then behind Baker is Kraft. Behind Kraft is Robert Graham, who we saw battling at the back in the last race, but he's moving through nicely. Up into that's 14th place from 16th place grid start.
It looks like my call for the safety car was way off now that the tyre pressures and temperatures have built up. These cars and drivers will be loving the grip levels out there now, so we'll really see what everyone's got now.
Dan Hunt's all over the place there, Andrew.
Yes, he is, and John Roberts going exceptionally well. He gave me some grief last season for talking about some of the accidents he's had, but he's doing an excellent job so far. He's about 2 seconds ahead of Robert Plumley, and only 3 seconds behind Robert Fagg, so that's a good job from John in the Engine Oils Direct car.
Plumley sets the fastest lap of the race that time by, so he's loving the conditions out there right now.
Smith and Hunt going side by side, so are Katz and Amado. Is Katz going to get through? Amado's not giving him enough space. They're still going to go side by side through the corner, but I think Katz has just got enough to get up into 7th place.
Yeah, Amado needs to be careful because he's going to come under pressure from Blake Hood, but he does have the slipstream of Andreas Katz, so he will be able to stay ahead heading towards the hill. He turns it in. I believe he's a Swiss driver, Amadou. And Steve Walker having a look at Ashley Blake Hood.
Further up the field, battle for 3rd place still. Laura Bond still holding up. Dan Hunt is in the background. That's one of the Lugnuts cars. Is that Paul Smith at it again, Andrew?
Yeah, and then Blake Hood, Steve Walker and Fielder 3 wide into turn 1.
Danny inside and he's through. Fantastic job there by the Engine Oils Direct car. David Baker in the mix there as well in the midfield. 2 Peter Newman Media cars there. The car at the front, that's in 10th place. That's Steve. Who's the?
Walker.
It's one of the Peter Newman Media cars, and in 9th it's Simon Field, and then at the back of this pack it is
Kraft.
Kraft, yes. So the Peter Newman Media cars inside the top 20 at the moment.
All these drivers, Adam, I believe, are race winners in this series.
Yeah, and Ashley Blake Hood has come close to winning a few so far this season. He's in 11th place. He's having another consistent race meeting here, round 2 of the championship at Lime Rock Park. After this, we'll go to Okayama, but through the final corner.
He's getting shoved back though, Adam.
Yeah, David Baker is going to be eyeing him up now down the straight. Blake Hood doing what you'd expect, defending the inside line, but he moves back across. That
Team Carnage car's quick in the straight line, isn't it?
Yeah, they've got a very good setup underneath them as we head through the first corner. Baker might have been caught napping because Dan Kraft is chopping at his heels now.
I remember listening to the guys, they say that they pump up the downforce and the pressures and things like that for those first few laps. And maybe the Carnage guys have left it alone knowing that the car will actually be faster once they do get up to the temps, that they just haven't perhaps compromised the car as much as some of the others
Roberts, sorry it cost you Alex, but Roberts just hit the tyre barriers and it's all over for him.
Oh no. Disaster for John Roberts. Robert Plumley, his teammate, ironically, is the beneficiary, but he's going wide. And you see Laura Bond now coming under pressure from Dan Hunt, and surely Hunt in the Oculus 360 car, former race winner of this in this series, is going to go through as well. And
Katz trying to get in on the act as well, round the outside of Paul Smith. So Katz up into the top 5 once again. Katz won race 1. Katz finished in 5th place in race 2, and now he's up into 5th place again, so another fantastic result for him. Poor John Roberts, he just went a bit wide through the right-hander going up the hill, and it just resulted in him clattering the tyre barriers, so that 2nd place for him is over, but Robert Plumley up into 2nd place now.
Amadeo still up in 7th place. He must be loving the fact that he's scrapping with these guys. It must give him a lot of confidence.
Cat standing inside.
Yes, he is indeed, and Laura Bond fighting for all she's worth, and you can see that Field Alex is trying to get past Amadou. Oh, and he's hit him and he's gone. Oh no! Oh, and he's hit Baker, and I think Netcode saved Baker.
Yeah, Baker not got a scratch on his car once again, so the connection being very kind to David Baker tonight.
That would have written him off, Alex, in real life.
Yeah, let's have a little look at that.
He's not got a scratch on that gear
as well, so looks like nothing going. Yeah, just a little tapping from behind, and then just a well brakes loose.
And then I mean, how does Baker survive that? Unbelievable. The back of this pack, Graham and Laidler, Adam are battling.
And
Laidler sideways. So Graham sideways up to the hill. Somebody's gone off at the top of the hill.
Bond, and also up at the top, Bond is trying to get past John Roberts, who's a lap down, and Paul Smith's trying to get down on the act as well. Those two were going side by side a few corners ago.
Blake, Newman and Gregory are fighting, Newman and Stevens are fighting out. Newman with a damaged car.
It was actually Blake Hood who made contact with him from the onboard view. Dave Baker actually got away, so yeah, just very, very lucky there, both drivers. Right, let's get back live with the action, sorry.
No, it's alright. Dan Kraft up the inside of
John Roberts.
Oh, it's Roberts, is it? Having pitted. Got a fresh car, that makes sense. No, Blake Hood's in there. It's all kicking off really. I don't really know where to look or what to talk about.
Laura Bond battle for 5th. That's probably one we should be keeping an eye on. Paul Smith, Laura Bond runs wide. Oh, that tyre barrier is so close on the exit. She needs to be careful through the final corner. Will that have unsettled the Kyrotson a bit too much? No, it doesn't. It seems she's holding her ground. Have a look in the background. We're nearly 3 wide there as David Baker is battling with one of the Pete Newman media cars. Down the inside into the corner. This is not going to end well, surely. The Pete Newman media cars both on the outside. That's Simon Field and with the orange font on his car, and that's behind him. It's the other Pete Newman media car, Kraft,
with the red font. Yep.
Through the left-hander, Field in 9th. Baker is still battling with Kraft, but Baker is now up inside the top 10 as we head down the back straight.
Alex, I think what's making this race so good is kind of what I mentioned earlier, which is all these drivers battling in the midfield positions are former race winners pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. It's great to see actually all of them up there and having a good old ding-dong battle, so let's keep it up, lads.
And a battle for 2nd is shaping up as well between Robert Plumley and Dan Hunt. Dan Hunt in the Oculus 360 car, Robert Plumley in the Engine Oils Direct car, down the front straight into the first corner. We've still got...
In the background as well, Steve Walker taking Paul Smith.
Yes, Danny inside, Steve Walker, already a race winner tonight, and he's going to try and have a look down the inside of Laura Bond. Laura Bond, the last Elite Martini car, standing through the left-hander and through this right-hander and down the back straight. She's probably now going to be coming under immense pressure from Steve Walker.
Yeah, she is down the hill. And up over the crest again.
Very close this time as well, and Katz isn't too far behind. I dare say one of these guys going to make a little move into turn 1 this time.
Yeah, Plumley is a bit wide there, that's what he is, but Kat's definitely looking racy along with Hunt. The best moment, the moment I remember from Plumley's season last time round, showing how uneventful it was when he crossed the line in reverse at Montreal, Alex.
Oh yeah, classic. So stick it in reverse and go. Would have been one of his best finishes actually. Still ended up a pretty decent one, but yeah. Actually, Plumley took a lot of speed there using that outside line, and I hear some contact further back.
There it is.
Hunt and Katz.
Hunt and Katz have gone.
Yeah, it was just...
They're still managing to keep it somewhat on the track as, Hunt's not going to stop this, is he?
Hunt basically had a terrible... He basically had a terrible line through the corner, and that just meant that Katz was going to cut down the inside, and sadly Hunt closed the door and both of them were off.
Just going to get a little replay of that back actually, because unfortunately he was just behind the tree line as it happened.
Katz pitting,
So let's just have a little look at this.
I'm not exactly sure why he's pitting. It doesn't look like he's got a lot of damage. Oh, off goes Robert Graham hard into the tyre wall, Alex. Oh, big crash, massive crash. Robert Graham's gone into the trees.
And Matt
Looks
Walker
like
is
Matt Walker with him
in the
as
pit
well.
lane.
Let's just get a little replay of that.
It was Laidler, I think, and we got together with Graham. Same accident as Smolensky and Raft. But then somebody came along. Oh, he reversed it into the middle of the track. I don't know what he was doing.
Side by side, Bond versus Walker. Walker wins. Up into 3rd place goes Steve Walker whilst that replay is being shown. So I thought Laura Bond was looking safe for a podium there, but not anymore. Steve Walker up into 3rd place. He's now going to have to go on the defensive because look at all those cars behind.
Huge gaggle forming up there.
into the corner. Oh.
Alex, remind me at the end. We'll have to watch that accident from Ellis Stevens.
Bond's been hit.
Off goes Bond.
Yeah, she got hit by Smith, and now this is all going to go wrong. Here comes, what is that? That's Kraft going down the inside of Field.
John Bays is off as well. He's lap traffic and he's almost in the way.
Comes back on. Thankfully, everyone avoids him. Smith sitting duck now. Here comes Field down the inside into the right-hander, but thinks better of it. Sorry, it's Kraft in 5th. It's so hard to tell because of these overcast conditions which piece of immediate car it is. Into the right-hander, and Dan Kraft has now managed to gain quite a few places as a result of that carnage going on in the first corner.
Malensky's up to 21st, just ahead of John Roberts, 20 seconds. So those two guys who've both been off the track, they've recovered pretty decently. Ellis Stevens survived that by the skin of his teeth. That huge accident on the main straight, so we're going to have to definitely check that later. Smith though, and in front of Kraft, then Field, then Blake Hood, and then Dave Baker at the back of this. Baker only 8th, but at this rate, Adam's Championship is going to be looking quite good. Yeah,
especially with Katz now in the pits. It looked like it was going to be 3 great races for Katz, but this one's been a total disaster as Kraft goes round the outside of Paul Smith. That is a fantastic move there by the Peter Newman media car. He's now up into 4th place. Who's that going down the inside? That's one of the carnage cars. Ashley Blake Hood, the newcomer to the championship this season, side by side.
Trying to take Simon Field, but all that Blake Hood's done is he's compromised himself, definitely.
And Baker looks like he's trying to gain advantage 3 wide into the corner. Usually that doesn't work. Baker gets out of it. They still don't hit each other as Blake Hood tries to go around the outside. He tried that in the second race and it didn't work out. But now it is down the inside, and that is a good move past Simon Field. But Field's still going to stay there. He's still with him. He's still with him. But thankfully Blake Hood just closes the door in time. Blake Hood's up into 6th place with Field down in 7th and David Baker keeping a watchful eye in 8th.
Alex, that just shows the difference between and why Baker's a champion. He backed out of a potential 3-wide situation.
Yeah, exactly. Thinking more of the long-term points. He knows he's had an okay week.
Somebody's off,
with these few rounds, and just it's not going to ruin it now by getting a 0-point finish.
Walker's through on Plumley, I think.
No, it's a back marker. It's a back marker. Number 19 is Eckhart von Glan, I think. So.
It was essentially not a direct car though. Sorry, I got a bit excited then.
Yeah, Paul Smith still in 5th. Blake Hood still trying to get past him though. We've got 7 laps to go in this final race of the evening here at Lime Rock Park. Daniel Kraft desperately trying to get away from this squabbling pack behind him. I was getting a bit excited.
Which I think he can.
Yeah, he is. So through the right hander, Paul Smith, and who's up in the Peter Newman media car? That's Simon Field. He got a great run through that right hander up the hill. Shame he can't do anything about it. That is too short of a run into that right hander to get a run on Ashley Blake Hood, but Blake Hood's definitely going to be vulnerable down this front straight.
Yeah, Smith, Adam started 5th. He's still 5th now. And look at this group of cars and look at the run that Simon Field's got Alex down into turn 1.
Yeah, he's going to have to do it around the outside. There's a few little individual battle going on around there, but he's got the move done at the moment. Can he hold on to it? Blake Hood's
again got the outside line sorted, hasn't he? Oh, nearly though. Nearly managed to make it through, but good defending by Field. Look a bit more speed into that left-hander, the only left-hander.
So that's how which cars are on the lead lap, isn't it?
Well, exactly.
Yeah, there's a few back markers entwined in this now as well, which is a little bit tricky.
Entwined, good word. There's Dan Blake and Russell Hitler, they're scrapping as well, P10.
Paul Smith, Andrew gets a very bad exit at the final corner.
Oh, he does indeed.
And that's going to allow Dan Kraft to take Simon Field, down the front straight into the corner, side by side. And they're still side by side now. Paul Smith in the number 13 Lugnut's car, giving him a bit of luck here. He's still in 5th place. But down the inside, down the inside goes Field. Is he going to be hung out to dry through the left-hander? He managed to slot back into that group, but surely Ashley Blake Hood will be on the offensive now through the right-hander.
He just left the door wide open, didn't he, Adam? And Alex, what's it like being a big pack of cars like this? Is it priority gaining places? I'm not losing any.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I think when you know you're about 3rd or 4th car, You're more worried about the guy behind than necessarily the guy in front, unless they make a mistake. And talking of mistakes there, that's Engine Oil's direct car just running a little bit wide. Tell me that wasn't a bad marker or not.
It was a bad marker, yeah. Kev Von Glan. Into the first corner, side by side, too wide again. Is Field going to stop the car? Yes, he does. But who's going to be the car behind him? It is Blake Hood this time. Down the inside goes Blake Hood.
Blake Hood's great through turn 1.
Yeah, he's obviously got the car set up to be very good in this tight and twisty stuff at the beginning of the lap, because Paul Smith is now down into 7th place with David Baker, the next car, his teammate, in 8th place.
Yeah, indeed, and Baker, he's just where you described, Alex, right in the middle of that pack, and all his teammate Smith, well, would normally be thinking of letting him through, but it's very difficult to do so.
I just don't think you can at this point, you know, that unless...
Smith might let him through by complete accident. He's gone well off the track.
He avoids the tyre barrier, though.
Did. But he may not avoid being passed by... Is that Pete Newman?
It is indeed Pete Newman.
How has he done that? His car was toast and he was miles behind him about 10-15 laps ago. Worked his way up well.
Yeah, up into 8th place inside the top 10. We're now on
the pace that team have got, Adam, sorry.
Yeah, they've got a great setup, and they're obviously vying for the championship this year, because look at them, they've got a car in 4th, a car in 5th. Pete Newman himself is in 8th place, and their other teammates, who is...
Nobody tonight, is it?
Steve Hefford. Is it Steve Hefford? I think Steve Hefford, he won a race at Brands Hatch. He's in 23rd.
Oculus, isn't he?
Anyway, 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go. The field's starting to spread out a bit now. No major battles unfolding. So Robert Fagg has got a 10.3 second lead. And
you say that Richard Wilde here alongside Ellis Stevens, 12th and 13th place into turn 1. Got Laura Bond just ahead of them as well. This is looking quite tasty for, what's this? This is 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th.
Yeah, and Dan Blake driving for EOR as well. We haven't seen an EOR car in this race much tonight.
No, but Richard Wilde has appeared. And it's the first time we've seen him all evening. Driving for Team Carnage. Former DEG man.
Through the right-hander over the top of the hill. Richard Wilde trying to get past Laura Bond in front of him. Laura Bond was in 2nd place for a while at the beginning of the race, but now she's down outside the top 10. So another bad evening's racing for Elite Martini. Alex Smolensky down in 20th place. He sort of got himself out of the way at the beginning, so he didn't feature in our post-race discussions. Over the line onto the final lap. Richard Wells just got an overlap. Let's see what sort of defence Ellis Stevens puts up into the first corner.
Stevens going through.
Yeah, sorry, it's Laura Bond that put just let them through. Stevens through as well, and now she's going to have to get back on the defensive from Dan Blake.
At the front of Laura Bond's car, as Robert Fagg is going to win the race. No concern with the other battles.
And he blew his
engine. I don't know if he did that on purpose or what, but blown engine for Fagg, excellent. And Robert Plumley there, fantastic. 2nd place. Steve Walker 3rd. Then Kraft, Field and Blake Hood, and then David Baker in 7th. Pete Newman about taking 8th, and then Paul Smith a good 9th there.
Rob Plumley would be delighted with that result. You know, P2, very, very close to getting on there, but be delighted to be up on that podium. And has deserved it, I think, in last couple of seasons. Put some good performance on, had some results snatched away for little moves here and there. So yeah, good to see him up there. But can't take anything away from the leader though. Robert Fagg, absolutely dominant really. He was in the best place on the grid, of course, and got a good start and was a little bit careful in the first couple of corners. You saw that as he needed to be, and then once those pressures built up, he just flew.
Certainly a race of attrition, Andrew. Only 15 cars finishing on the lead lap.
Yeah, it was, and again those overcast conditions showing exactly what can happen. I'll give every credit to Plumley, because I've given him some stick about overcast conditions. He always seems to struggle and seems to make a mistake, but it was perfect today, and 11 seconds behind Robert Fagg, yes, but he beat everyone else, and that's what matters for his team. Good points for Engine Oil Direct, who they've had a bad championship so far, Adam, haven't they?
A few seasons ago, they were fighting for the championship under Reginald Direct. They used to have the likes of Simon Field and Dan Kraft driving for them. They had a bit of a quiet season last time around. I think, Simon Field drove for them last season and didn't have the best of seasons as well. He managed to get inside the top 5 in the end, but he didn't feature for most of the season, and I don't think Engine Horse Direct managed to win a race at all last season. So good to see Robert Plumley up in second place, and maybe he could possibly take the top step of the podium at the next round at Okayama.
Yeah, indeed, and that should be fun at the Japanese track. The
short layout as well.
Indeed, it's one of the first tracks that anyone drives on iRacing, Adam, and it's a great layout. It does provide overtaking. It will surely do in touring cars.
And I don't know how accurate this stat is, but I think that was Rob Plumley's best BSRTC result ever. So second place, well done to him.
Yeah, he says it is, so I do believe him. I honestly thought he had done that or better before, but yeah, excellent. Alex, who's your driver of the meeting then?
Oh, that's actually a tough one, I think. There's a few drivers that really stand out. I mean, I think I would have said Katz if it weren't for this race. Baker's been consistent, but not like outstanding.
Walker.
Walker as well. A win and a third. Not sure what happened in the first race. Just didn't really see him. Didn't really feature in that race. Kraft's done okay, but got involved with some stuff. Ashley Blake could maybe, not won a race, but he's been in every fight actually. Yeah. So, maybe I'll give it to Ashley. But so saying that, so's Pete Newman. So, yeah, it really is a really tough one to nail it down. There's a bunch of names there. You can all have it.
we may have to sit on a massive fence, Adam. I think for that one.
Yeah, I think mine might go to Dan Kraft. He got 14th in race 1, which wasn't the best result. However, he got a very high result in race 2 and finished in 4th place in race 3. So he managed to work his way up from starting down in the pack as well. So I think he's probably my driver of the meeting.
And Rob Fagg, he got 15th place, got the reverse grid pole, won the race. Seen that happen before, and but sometimes that's the luck you get, isn't it? You have a bad middle, you have a bad second race, and it just puts you in the right position, and a bit of overcast conditions, and there you go. But yeah, it could have gone to absolutely any of those guys. Newman's car was knackered, and he managed to drag it up from about 18th to 8th. I cannot call it, I must admit. Not at all.
Right.
I think maybe Rob Fagg, considering it's only his second weekend back in the championship.
And let's see if we can get Rob Fagg for a quick interview.
Yes, we spoke to him last week, and he was very pleased with his outing. So,
Rob Fagg, on your return to the championship in only your second race meeting, you managed to take a victory in race 3 of the evening.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yes, I think it made it easy starting from pole, and my silly mistake in the second race ended up benefiting me.
Followed my lead from Montreal last season. 15th race 2, first in race 3. Was it pretty easy after the first lap or two in the overcast conditions?
Yeah, I mean it was extremely slippery the first couple of laps, but once heat were in the tyres, I'd already gained sort of 3 or 4 second lead by then, and I was just trying to treat each lap like a qualifying lap, and just try and keep it on the road really.
What exactly happened to you in race 2 then?
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it on the broadcast. I was making progress quite nicely through the field, and I think I got to turn 3, the right-hander. I went to talk to one of my teammates who was slightly further up ahead, and I pushed the wrong button and ended up looking left or right, I can't remember now, just as I was meant to turn into the corner. So it was a pretty silly mistake, but it turned out it benefited me in the end, giving me the reverse grid pole, so very good.
We go to a track that's just as twisty as this one next week, Okayama Shorts. How do you think the Kia's going to handle around there?
Yeah, that's going to be a really tricky one, purely just because it's such a short circuit. So it's depending on how many cars we get on the grid. Should be good fun. I think it all depends on the weather, to be honest. The first race tonight was dry conditions and a lot of grip, which was unexpected. And obviously the conditions deteriorated through the races. But yeah, no, I think it all depends what the weather turns out to be.
Alex, have you got any questions for Rob?
No, just to say, congratulations. Good to see you in the championship and fighting up the front, and wish you all the best at Okayama.
Cheers, guys. Yeah, it's good to bring home first Team Carnage win as well. So hopefully we'll have some more.
Well done, Rob, and good to have you up in the commentary box. Best of luck next week.
Cheers, guys.
Robert Fagg there, winning only his 6th race back after a 1 year nearly absence, Adam?
Pretty much. The last time we saw him in the championship, season 4, so that was about April 2014. So, yeah, nearly a year's absence.
Tell you what, he brings. This Team Carnage is a very exciting lineup. I mean, Ashley Blake Hood, who's a pure rookie pretty much in this series, and Rob Fagg, a returning veteran, definitely proving to be a good tandem up there. And once Ben Palmer, I believe he's been having some equipment trouble with his wheel. Once he gets going again and starts fighting near the front like he was last season, I think they've got every chance of taking it to Peter Newman Media, Alex.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. I think they do look strong, and it's just one of the other teams that seem to be sort of floating in and around all those battles. And I think, like you say, get the equipment sorted, and I think that we could have an interesting team championship on our hands.
Now, I'm sure all of you in the live chat are looking forward to hearing from Ellis Stevens. However, I don't know whether we're going to be able to get much out of him.
I'll pull an executive decision on that one and say we'll leave Ellis alone.
Yes.
Probably best to do that.
I do want to have a look, though, if we can. Can we have a look at that incident with when Robert Graham ended up in the trees?
Yeah,
I want to see Ellis's point of view, because he went right through the middle of that, and it was something biblical, his avoidance.
Right, do we know when that was? When did Rob go off? Guessing lap 11, 12, something like that, maybe 13. We've got a few off tracks here for Rob Graham.
It'll be the last one, I think, because he ended up in the trees and we never saw him again.
Okay, let's try this one. Just see if we can
end of 13, mate. End of 13.
Alright. Let's see if we can
Robert Graham first of all, I think.
Yeah, let's see if we can locate that, and then it's under a lot of pressure at the moment. Not sure who that was behind him, but
yellow car is Laidler.
Oh, this is a bad shot of it. It's gonna go hanging out, I guess.
Yeah, so he had a bad line through the final corner, and
Gonna have to jump up in the blimp for that one, I think, because
TV. Have you got the default camera angles on?
Well, no, we've not. We've got some got a TV panel on there. So
I say TV2's got a fantastic view on that.
Ellis Stevens, I don't know.
One more look at this, and then I'll jump on.
The blimps, there's trees in the way of the blimp shot, I believe. So
I'll probably have to be treated for shock after what the experience that Ellis Stevens goes through.
It was crazy.
Oh, so he just rolls back.
I don't think. Yeah, I thought he reversed back, but it was just the force in the wheels, wasn't it, of him trying to stay out of the wall.
Right, so we want Ellis now for this one, like cockpit or something like that.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly, cockpit, mate. That's the only one we can do, because this is going to be. I think this is going to be pretty fun.
Got Ellis Stevens is miles behind the actual incident.
It's the fact that he does a little slalom as well, because he's so shocked he sort of steers one way and then the other. Oh dear.
And he barely holds on to it as well.
Beautiful. Good driving in the end by him. He kept his foot in it, didn't he? Didn't slow down.
He was probably on a rampage after his teammate took him out in race 2.
Yes. Not for that reason. It's probably a good idea that we didn't have a word with him, but I'm sure we'll hear from him on social media this week. But Alex, Adam, is there anything else that you guys can think of in that race to have a look at?
Possibly the demise of Andreas Katz.
Ah, yes, with the Hunt.
Yeah, if you can find that, we'll have one last look at Ellis's slalom manoeuvres here.
Yes.
Right, well, it is halfway around lap number 13, and it all starts from Dan Hunt messing his lines up going through the first few corners.
Right,
Have a look at that then.
What lap did you say it was, sorry?
13, lap number 13.
So should we start on? You're going to start on turn 1, Adam? Is that the best place?
Probably so, yeah. Dan Hunt messes up his lines really from turn 2 onwards.
Chopper cam might be the best for that.
Let's jump up in there. Got that. We're just going through turn 1 now.
Oh, he did mess it up a bit, didn't he?
Goes for the left-hander.
All over the place, really.
The curb pushes him out wide, and then Katz goes down the inside, and then,
Nothing they both could do, really.
Yeah, because Dan Hunt had already put 2 wheels onto the grass, sort of, and I don't know whether that pitched the car a little bit sideways.
Katz couldn't go any more right because his car's still under the forces of turning right, basically.
But I don't know why that warrants him a trip to the pits.
Yeah, maybe it was a meatball. Maybe it was, sim forced.
Could have been front suspension damage.
Yeah, and
I
when
mean, you can see that Hunt got front suspension damage.
Yeah, because you just never know as well with those ones. He could have got there and it's gone too much damage with done. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Hunt got a fast toe, came out and finished 18th.
Yeah, and Katz finished 19th.
Yeah,
Both one lap down.
It was actually later that lap as well that everything else happened. I can hear it all in the background now. All the.
Who was that with?
I'm not sure. I can't.
Just hear it.
I can't pump the camera quick enough to find out who it is, unfortunately.
Oh, there was somebody off. Oh no, there wasn't.
So, Okayama next week, then, fellas. I think we're going to be in for another treat.
Yeah, because Okayama, you've got the first corner, the long right-hander, and then because it's a short circuit, we quickly duck right, double apex right-hander, and then down a quick short back straight before the tight and twisty final few corners. So,
and the last 2 corners as well. You've really got to get right, haven't you, Adam? Because it is a long main straight there for these cars, at least.
yeah, it's going to be a bit like Hungaroring, where the front straight's really the only place that you can overtake. So we're going to be seeing drivers trying to hit each other out the way so they can get the best possible race position.
Just hearing from through the grapevine, Dave Baker, his steering wheel locked at the start of the race, which is why he drove straight off onto the grass.
That makes sense.
And of course, he had a pretty tasty race there, having to work his way back through. I think without that, he would have had quite a comfortable top 5. So yeah, and Katz also as well. Just a little word in from him as well, saying he tried everything he possibly could to avoid the crash with Dan, but there was just nothing he could do at the end.
Baker lost about 8 places, Alex, with that.
Yeah, we saw that. Straight off onto the grass. So very strange, but yeah, it's just what happens. Unfortunately, with sim racing now, every now and again we get hardware glitches and internet dropouts and things like that. So
indeed. I saw a funny comment actually from Robert Plumley that he was on the phone during that race trying to arrange Rob Fagg's internet to be cut off.
yeah.
So you see, anything to get the first win, and I don't blame him either. Guys, it's been a pleasure again. Like I say, first race meeting of the new year, first commentary of the new year for me, and loved every minute of it here at Lime Rock. Okayama next week. Might even jump in the car, who knows? But we'll see you guys on BSR TV. Thanks for watching here on YouTube. See you guys next week. Thursday night, indeed.